It'll all make sense in a minute. What's going on, world? I am Winston A. Marshall, and this is Positive Black People News, the show that's changing the narrative. Now, if this is your first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so then that way you get an indication anytime that we happen to be putting up a new episode, which we do like every week. And then, share this with everybody. Your mama, your daddy, your racist uncle that be saying horrible things at Thanksgiving, and you're just embarrassed by him, and you want to unfriend him on Facebook, but in actuality, if you're really an ally to black people, you gonna call him out on his stuff. I'm just throwing that out there. Random occurrence that may have happened. I don't know. Quarantine has allowed many of us to learn new skills, polish old ones, and, well, make TikToks.
For everybody on here over 30, don't forget, we got our own TikTok dances too.
Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crack it? Why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy? That Superman? Now why me you crack that soldier? Now why me you crack that soldier? Now why me?
Meet me in the trail, it's going down. Meet me in the mall, it's going down.
Oh, you like that, huh? Yeah, well, this kid's apparently way better at TikToks than I am.
Don't know if I could ever go without watermelon sugar high, 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 watermelon sugar.
With summer in full swing, 20-year-old Georgia State University theater student Julian put Harry Styles' Watermelon Sugar as a backdrop to his announcement to the world that he can do everything. Edit, costume design, choreograph, do a backflip. And before you make a comment about that last one, that's hard, all right? Shooting his shot. Julian dropped this tweet before the July 4th weekend started that read, "If y'all can retweet this enough times that Disney calls, that'd be greatly appreciated." Well, the internet delivered. With 21.9 million views, 1.3 million likes, and over 570,000 retweets, Bob Iger, former Disney CEO, took notice. He replied, "The world's gonna know your name." Wait a minute, that's it? All you have to do to get Bob Iger's attention is get your TikTok to go viral? Noted.
Choose your character.
But it wasn't just Bob Iger. Sony, James Gunn, and Zach Braff all took notice. And people even started suggesting that Julian be cast as Miles Morales if the character ever makes it into a live-action format. Well, here's hoping that Watermelon Sugar High turns him into that friendly neighborhood spider guy. I hated that joke. I don't know why I wrote it. I'm really disappointed in myself. I would assume I would have done better. Do better, me. Last week's Lost episode included a story about a wrongful conviction being overturned, which is always one of those bittersweet stories. It's not quite as positive as you would hope because there's a gross miscarriage of justice and someone's been living a nightmare for years. But it is positive because someone has finally been released from the living hell that they've been in, and they can finally attempt to put their lives back together. Jonathan Irons was wrongfully convicted at age 18 of burglary and assault. He was living out a 50-year prison sentence while maintaining his innocence and testimony that he wasn't even present at the scene of the crime. Irons was convicted in 1998 despite a shaky case from the prosecution, and despite appeal after appeal, it took help from a surrogate sister to finally get him freed. Basketball superstar Maya Moore left the WNBA in early 2019 at the peak of her career in order to help Irons gain his freedom. Moore, an evangelical Christian, was drawn to the case because after she met Irons through prison ministry, she formed a sibling-like bond with him, and she made it her mission to make sure he was set free. Moore used her fame to raise awareness and helped fund the hiring of Kent Gibson, a highly regarded defense attorney, to handle Irons' case. It was pointed out by Gibson the bias with which the prosecution and police officers used to manipulate the victim into making a false ID, as well as fingerprint evidence that wasn't even given to Irons' initial defense. You see how they do? Tried to run a pick and roll on him and committed a hard offensive foul while they did it. And Irons is out here telling him, "Nah, son, they cheating, ref," but they just don't believe him. See, I get it. I played a whole season of basketball in high school. Ball is life, baby.
I believe I can fly.
Oh, I don't.
Judge Daniel Green called the case against Irons very weak and circumstantial at best and overturned his conviction. After the county decided not to retry the case, Irons was finally set free. In an interview, Irons said, "I hope to be an agent of positive change. I want to encourage and inspire people and share my story with anyone that'll listen. I want to be an advocate, part of the conversation going forward for justice and police reform. I'm happy to see that step by step we're coming closer to true justice, and we still have a very long way to go. Hopefully the work of Irons and more can be another big step to finally putting a stop to a system that's been stacked against us from the start." If you'd like to know more, there's plenty of resources you can use to learn more about our broken prison system. I would highly recommend the new Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, or watching Netflix's Academy Award-winning documentary, 13th by Ava DuVernay. Let me just let more myself real quick. Check the hair. All right, we're good. Bet. Oscar So White founder April Rain has teamed up with media company Overture Global to launch Ensemble, a digital content studio that advances opportunities around content and development in front of and behind the camera for people of color. Positive Black people news. Changing the narrative. We're responsible too, Ensemble. Ensemble will develop sustainable programming while leveraging distribution platforms to create large audiences. The newly launched company will provide services in development, production, promotion, distribution, sales, marketing, and enterprise. Rain told Deadline, "I'm excited to be partnering with Overture. They have a reputation for creating professional content for a switched-on audience." I think that's like a fancy word for woke. We are in a unique period wherein we're able to bring together brands and creators to tell stories such as interviews, web series, and documentaries that reflect a wide range of American and global human experiences. We know, for example, the mobile usage rate by young African Americans is extremely high, and Ensemble intends to create a platform for showcasing mindful and considerate content developed by and for African Americans. Now, we've all seen this surge in productions that feature underrepresented groups like Issa Rae's Insecure, Donald Glover's Atlanta, Mindy Kaling's Never Have I Ever, and many more. These shows have not only been successful, they've captivated audiences of all demos. Kind of like a certain internet web show with a good-looking young brother that highlights Black folks winning and thriving. As a matter of fact, this would actually be a switched on time, if you will, to remind you to like, share, and subscribe this channel if you haven't already. Please and thank you. Positive Black People News, the show that's changing the narrative. Thank you so much to everybody that was watching this episode of PBPN. It's our second one in the revival, and it really is just me by myself this time. Like, no Brandon, no nothing. I set this all up by myself, so if I'm a little washed out, you know, I'm not great at color correction. I lit myself the best I could. I had to kind of like focus myself, so hopefully I'm in focus. Lord help me. But it's dope. I pulled it off. I'm really proud of what I did here today. I'm really proud of my patrons. I couldn't have done it without y'all. Shout out to everybody. You're seeing them in the credits right now. Shout out to Soul Galvin. Excuse me if I said that wrong, Soul. She wrote the story about the Black bookstores, and you can too. So please, please, please join my Patreon, patreon.com/theswaggyblurred. My top 2 tiers actually get to be potentially writers on the show. You submit stories, and I select one of the stories each episode, and then we co-write that script together. So definitely an opportunity if you want to do that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Share this with as many people as you can. Watch all the other past episodes. There's been a lot of good news, and we're going to keep bringing it to you. That's what we're here to do. I guess we is me. I don't know. I'm going to call Naima because she said she wanted to, get back in the game too. So we'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. I love y'all. Enjoy your week. I got to go because, since this episode is done, I immediately have to go into filming another one. So, bye. Bye.